राम राम हरे 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 कृष्णा कृष्ण कृष्ण हरे 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 राम 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 हरे 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 कृष्णा कृष्ण कृष्ण हरे 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 राम 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 हरे 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 कृष्णा कृष्ण कृष्ण हरे 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 राम 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 हरे 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 कृष्णा कृष्ण कृष्ण हरे 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 राम 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 हरे 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 कृष्णा।
Hare Krishna. So today we are reading Canto 1, Chapter 16 and text number 8. And this chapter is about how Parikshit received the age of Kali. Om Namo Bhagavate Vasudevaya.
Om Namo Bhagavate
Vasudevaya.
Om Namo Bhagavate Vasudevaya.
Om Namo Bhagavate Vasudevaya.
Om Namo Bhagavate Vasudevaya.
Om Namo Bhagavate Vasudevaya.
Narayana Namaskrityam Naranchayava Narottamam Devim Saraswatim Vyasa Tato Jaya Mudiraye Nashta Prayeshu Abhadreshu Nityam Bhagavata Sevaya Bhagavati Uttama Shloke Bhaktir Bhavati Naishtuki. So I will read Shloka 3 times and then we can repeat. Na kaschin mriyate tavad yavada asta ihantakaha Eitadartham hi bhagavana ahutah paramarshvihi aho niloke piyeta hari leelamratam vachah na kaschin mriyate tavad yavada asta ihantakah Eitadartham hi bhagavana ahutah paramarshvihi Aho niloke piyeta hari leelamratam vachah na kaschin mriyate tavad yavadasta ihantakah etadartham hi bhagavana ahutah paramarshvihi aho niloke piyeta hari leelamratam vachah. Please recite.
Na kaschin mriyate tavad yavad asta ihantaka etadartham hi bhagavan ahuta paramarshibhi aho nrloke piyeta harileelamrutam vachaha.
न कश्चिन् म्रियते तावत् यावदस्ता इहान्तका एतदर्थं हि भगवान् आहुतो परमार्शिभिः अहो नृलोके पीयेत हरिलीलामृतं वचः। हरे कृष्ण।
Hare Krishna.
कश्चिन् म्रियते तावत् यावदास्ता इहान्तका एतदर्थं हि भगवान् आहुत परमर्षिभिः अहो नृलोके पीयते हरिलीलामृतं वच।
Okay, so let us read the word-to-word translation. Na, not, kaschit, anyone, mriyate, will die, tavat, so long, yavat, as long as, aste, is present, iha, herein, antaka, one who causes the end of life. Etat, this. Artham, reason. He, certainly. Bhagavan, the representative of the Lord. Ahuta, invited. Parama Rishibhihi, by the great sages. Aho, alas. Nraloke, in human society. Piyeta, let them drink. Hari Leela, transcendental pastime of the Lord. Amratam, nectar for eternal life. Vachaha, narrations. Translation purport by Srila Prabhupada. As long as Yamraj, who causes everyone's death, is present here, no one shall meet with death. The great sages have invited the controller of the death, Yamraj, who is representative of the Lord. Living beings who are under his grip should take advantage by hearing the deathless nectar in the form of this narration of transcendental pastime of the Lord. Purport. Every human being dislikes meeting death, but he does not know how to get rid of death. The surest remedy for avoiding death is to accustom oneself to hearing the nectarian pastime of Lord, as they are systematically narrated in the text of Srimad Bhagavatam. It is advised herein, therefore, that any human being who desires freedom from death should take to this course of life as recommended by the rishis headed by Shaunaka. Gyantimirandasya Gyananjana Shalakaya Chakshurunitam Yena Tasmai Shri Guruvay Namaha. He Krishna Karuna Sindhu Dinabandhu Jagatpati Gopesha Gopika Kanta Radha Kanta Namastute Tapta Kanchana Gaurangi Radhe Vrindavaneshwari Vrashabhano Sute Devi Pranamami Hari Priye Vancha Kalpatarubhyasya Kripa Sindhubhya Evacha Patitanam Pavanebhyo Vaishnavebhyo Namo Namaha. Shri Krishna Chaitanya Prabhu Nityananda Shri Advaita Gadadhar Shivasadi Gaura Bhakta Vrinda. Hare Krishna 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 Hare 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 Ram Rama Rama Hare Hare. Namo Vishnu Padaya Krishna Pristaya Bhutale Srimati Bhaktivedanta Swami Namine. Namaste Saraswati Devi Gauravani Pracharine Nirvishesha Shunnavadi Paschatya Deshatarine. So this is very good shloka actually, and Prabhupada explained that how the most important line in this shloka is Aho Nraloke Piyeta Hari Lila Mratam Vachaha. So Nraloke means in this human society, what they should do, piyet, drink wholeheartedly. What they should hear, Hari Lila Mratam, the nectar of Hari Lila, Hari Katha. That should, and it's a description of that. They should actually hear that, the narrations of Hari Katha. As much as we see, we hear, and drink this nectar, what will happen? We will never see Yamraj, because Yamraj comes only to catch up the people, who are against the Lord. His devotees, he stays away from the devotees. He doesn't catch them, he doesn't punish them. So it's Yamraj's job is to reform the people properly. So, translation one more time. As long as Yamraj, who causes everyone's death, Yamraj actually causes the death, means, when the time matures, that person's time matures, that, okay, this is the time to go. So Yamraj calls him, and then he actually punishes, So it's written here, he's the cause of death. And what happened actually when there was discussion by Sut Goswami, when in the Naimisharanya forest, when 88,000 the saints were there, the sages were there, and they were discussing about Bhagavatam, so they invited Yamraj. So Yamraj was there actually when he was listening to this katha and their discussions, and there was a great 1,000-year sacrifice was going on. So at that time, actually, when Yamraj was there, then nobody was worried about the death. Because as long as Yamraj is there, death cannot come, because who will give the judgment? Because Yamraj is just like judge, and he tells, what punishment to be given. So when Yamraj was hearing there, so that's why I said nobody shall meet with death. Similarly, I remember, when I was quite young, like 30, 40 years ago, I saw a movie known as Lok Parlok. Have some of you watched that movie? Or remember about that? In that one, also the same thing was there, that somehow or the other, Yamraj was on this Earth planet, and then somebody died and went up, but he was sent back, and he came again, and people were scared, and they were saying that this is a ghost. But actually he said, no, I'm not ghost. Actually, I went, and the door of Yamlok was closed because Yamraj was not here. He was on vacation, something like that. So yes, so this is like similar kind of incident. The theme was same, but they showed it a very different way. The Yamraj is Mahajan. He's not a cheap guy, like they showed in the movie. It's not like he wanted to enjoy this material world or something. He came for some different purpose, actually. The great sages have invited the controller of death, because the sages invited, so he came to hear Bhagavatam, and Yamraj, who is the representative of the Lord. He is representative of Lord. Actually, Lord Krishna actually gave him this job, to punish the people. It's not like he wants to punish or anything. He's a great soul, actually, great authority. But Lord has given him this job, and that's why he's doing this. So Prabhupada is writing, living beings who are under his grip should take advantage of hearing the deathless nectar. So actually, Srimad Bhagavatam is so nectarian. That's why all the sages were discussing about that. And here it is advised that actually whosoever wants to stay away from Yamraj, then they should actually hear as much as possible this nectarian, and actually not just hear, to drink the nectar actually as much as possible. Deathless nectar, the nectar is deathless, so it makes you deathless, means it makes you living forever, eternal. So actually, devotee goes back to Godhead and serve the Lord there eternally. So actually, for avoiding the death, this is the best solution to hear Harikatha. So every human being, actually, they dislike meeting with death. Nobody wants to meet with death. Who wants to die, actually? Nobody. Even people are suffering so much, still they don't want to die. Because this material world is actually place of suffering. Dukkhalayam ashashvatam. So there is no happiness. And whatever happiness we see is very temporary and very flickering, actually. It's not permanent happiness like people live in in Golok Vrindavan, where they serve a Lord and they are happy. There is no anxiety at all. Here, everyone is in anxiety, little bit anxiety. Somebody has too much anxiety, like that. So all the time rushing here and there. And so this place is not suitable. But so this thing for us to just hear the nectar is advised in this shloka. The surest remedy to avoid the death is to accustom oneself to hearing the nectarian pastime of the Lord, as they are systematically, Prabhupada is writing, systematically narrated in the text of Srimad Bhagavatam. So Prabhupada is saying that we should read Bhagavatam systematically from verse to verse number 1, like that, go on chapter to chapter. So that way, we can learn more, and this will be a systemic way rather than jumping from this slok to that slok, that slok to that slok, like that. So if you go systematically, it will be very advantageous for us. It is advised herein, therefore, that any human being who desiring freedom from the death should take to this course of life, as recommended by the rishis headed by Shaunaka. So Shaunaka Rishi and all other rishis, they were hearing So they are giving us the example that if we want to get freedom from the death and not seeing the Yamraj, the surest way is to hear Bhagavatam. So actually here from text number 5, we are seeing that the sages are asking the questions to Suta Goswami. So in the text number 5, he asked a question that Parikshit Maharaj, when he saw the Kali, he just punished him, but he punishes, but he did not kill him because he was so disgusting, like his acts were so bad that he was harming and hitting the cow's legs. So it was very unpious act and he should be killed, but he didn't kill him. And why he didn't kill him? Because it was time, time for Kali. It was Kali Yuga was starting. Actually, Kali Yuga started even at the end of Mahabharata. The first, as soon as the Mahabharata war ended, Kali Yuga actually started from that day. But Lord Krishna was on this planet, so Kali could not do anything when Lord is present here. But as soon as Lord Krishna left, then more and more signs and symptoms, Yudhishthira Maharaj was seeing all the bad omens, that Kali Yuga is coming, so he knew what is going on. That's why when Arjuna returned back from Dwarka, then he didn't want to ask directly that did Krishna left this planet, he just asked how the people are in Dwarka, how all the Yadus are in Dwarka, are they enjoying, thing like he asked like that in different way. So Arjuna didn't feel bad, but then Arjuna told that no, Lord Krishna actually left this planet. And then he immediately left everything, gave his kingdom to Parikshit Maharaj and left, he did not, Yudhishthira Maharaj, as we read in few shlokas before, the Yudhishthira Maharaj left without even taking his brother or waiting for his brother, Draupadi, Mother Kunti, anybody. So at the end, everybody comes alone and goes alone actually. So like Yudhishthira Maharaj just left himself, and then his brothers one by one left, and then ultimately Mother Kunti left, and then the Subhadra and Draupadi, they all left, So that's the way, one by one they left and they went out in our direction. We came alone, we will go alone, it's not, we have to wait for somebody. And so that's where they are asking questions actually, one by one. And so Parikshit Maharaj actually is saying here that actually Sud Goswami is saying the escaping death by Hari Leela Amrita. That is the best thing. So if you want eternal life in Golok Vrindavan, then this is the best way. So actually our body, this body is very temporary in this material world and it has to go. This body's actual dharma is the death. It has to die because it cannot stay forever. So even after we did all the advancement, scientific advancement, then we can see the death rate is still 100%. It didn't go down at all. So everybody has to die actually. So we should actually, the best thing is we should stay in ourself. Who is ourself? Ourself is we are the soul, not this body. So we should see what is advantageous for our soul. So we should actually stay in our Atma and think what is the best thing for our Atma. So Sukadeva Goswami actually, when he got the curse from Shrangi, then he immediately rushed to Sukatal. Sukatal is the place near Haridwar where he invited everybody and all the sages and everything. Vyasadeva was there, Narad Muni was there, everybody was there to hear, and Sukadeva Goswami came and he heard from Sukadeva Goswami. So actually near Delhi also, Ganges is there, but he didn't go there because he has to see the sadhus. And sadhus are much more, many in Haridwar, not in Delhi. So that's why he went to near Haridwar in Sukatal to hear the Bhagavatam. So when we see the Parikshit Maharaj when he went out, because he used to go to his kingdom and see what is going on, if everybody is following the dharma. So when he saw, then he saw the Kali, and Kali was like in the black suit, he was Shudra, like king. He looks like king, he was dressed himself as king, having the crown and everything, but he was like looking like low class man. And his eggs also were bad, like eating the cow. At that time, at the end of Dwapara Yuga, nobody will harm a cow or bull, but he was harming the cow. So Parikshit Maharaj immediately pulled out his sword and wanted to punish, but then he said that I'm Kali, and Kali Yuga is starting, this is my period, so he could not actually kill him, but he told, that where you can live, he gave him some place to live in. He told him, where you can live in this thing, So then he said that, like, you can live where there is the, like, drinks are sold, or drugs are there, or the prostitute house, and where there is gambling, like that, or where is the slaughterhouses, so you can stay there. But then Kali said that, Maharaj, you are so pious king, in your kingdom, where I'm going to get these places actually, So then ultimately, fifth place he showed is that you can stay in the gold. So gold is also gold and like money, collected money. So those things, still Kali Yuga lives there. Like nowadays, if you see, like if somebody wants land, then he will not, or building the temple, he will not, government will give him hard time. But somebody wants a shop for selling the wine, then he will get permit right away, because with the alcohol, government will get lot of taxes. So this is the thing. This is the Kali Yuga, and that's why in Kali Yuga you can get like that. You can get permission, for drinking shop, but not for the temple. Like Ujjain, government give land, but now they are giving so hard time that you cannot open the restaurant, you cannot have the guest house here, and like that, So the Kali Yuga government is really bad, it's not very conducive for the bhakti. So that is the problem. So actually, Lord and lots of devotees, they all have the desire, because Krishna comes here for dharma sansthapanataya sambhavami yuge yuge, just to establish the religion. So actually Parikshit Maharaj has to protect the religion, because religion is protected by the devotees only. So devotees actually give protection to the dharma. Like we see, our border is protected by the army. So similarly, and so when the border is properly protected, people can be assured that no other country will come and invade us, or they will bring the bomb, and explode the bomb, something like that. So people can live with peace. Similarly, the devotees actually protect the dharma, so people can live with the proper, and ultimately they go at the end back to Godhead. This is the determination of the devotees actually, and devotees are having. So Parikshit Maharaj actually told him that tapaha, socham, daya, and satyam. Those four things, he said that where these things are not there, you can stay there. So tapaha means austerity. By austerity, like places where the intoxication is there. And socham, is the cleanliness. Where is not cleanliness, that places are like the prostitute houses. And then meat eating is where is the slaughterhouses. By slaughterhouses, our mercy goes away, because we don't have any mercy on any animals. That's why people slaughter. And the last one is satyam. Where is the satyam is lost? Satyam is not there in the gambling. So In the Kali Yuga, all three legs are gone. Only one leg is there of the four legs of the religion, which is dharmas, which is the satya. Satya left little bit, not completely, but little bit is there. That's why this Kali Yuga is staying on the truthfulness, actually, partial truthfulness, not all truthfulness. So if you see that Socham, how the Socham, the austerity comes by not taking any intoxication and paying, like getting early in the morning, like we do austerity, like getting up in the Brahma Muhurta, chanting. So this is the duty of the devotees. Similarly, Socham, cleanliness, how the cleanliness comes, we have cleanliness from outside and inside. Outside cleanliness we can do by taking shower, like devotees take shower 2-3 times a day, and like that. So, but more important, that is the cleanliness of inside of the body. And how do we can do that? By hearing Hari Katha as advised in this shloka, and also by chanting and associating with the devotees. So there are so many things, and that actually makes us clean inside. The third thing is the second thing actually is the Socham. Socham is the cleanliness. How the cleanliness comes? The cleanliness we discussed, outside and inside cleanliness. And third thing is mercy, daya. And how we can have the mercy if we are cleaning, if we are killing the animals, actually. So animals should not be killed. And then people will have the nice thoughts, otherwise, they will have all the murders and everything, violence and all these things. Like we see here, like not seeing the bad things also comes there, because Ajamil, actually, if you see, he just saw one time a person was like having, like they were a man and a prostitute, they were getting together behind a tree, so he saw them one time. But in Kali Yuga, we see that kind of scene every single day, not one time, but hundreds of times. Everywhere we see these things. Go to mall, put on the TV, everywhere you are seeing this kind of thing, So in Kali Yuga is much worse than that. So we should see actually how we can get out of these things. So Prabhupada is advising us to drink the nectar of Harikatha as much as possible. But hearing the Katha also, there are some conditions actually how we should hear the Katha. So one thing is we should have utmost humility in hearing the Katha. If we don't have humility, we have, so Dinhin Bhavna, that has to be there. Otherwise, the Katha will not be that effective. And second thing is we have to control whatever defects are in our mind. We have to control them. And then we can hear and concentrate properly. The third thing, actually, we should see that we should absorb completely in Harikatha. So for absorption, when we hear, we should keep the pen and the diary and note down the practical points that will be useful actually, and that way we can concentrate more also and hear also with great absorption. And also we should have full dradhanishta, that means full belief, full faith in the Katha. Then we can actually hear it properly, and the benefit of Katha will be 10 times more, because sometimes we put on the headset, and the hear Katha, but doing other things also at the same time. But that the Katha is not that effective, So it's good to hear that way, but it's not great. Because if we pay more attention, we have humility, then Katha will be really beneficial for us. So devotees actually, they do sell the book outside, they tell other people about Katha. So actually Lord gets very happy with them. So at this time in the Kali Yuga, devotees are doing their job and they are spreading the right Vedic culture. And so actually devotees are great persons for the Kali Yuga, and the more they distribute Srila Prabhupada's mercy on all the public, that's very good, And so many great devotees giving classes every single day. We see how many devotees, how many classes on YouTube. And if we hear at least some of them, actually, or even the public hears more and more, that will be very beneficial actually for this Kali Yuga. So Srila Prabhupada actually also gave a class in LA on January 5, 74. So he said that actually Yamraj is representative of the Lord as written in Bhagavatam, also in this shloka in translation. And Srila Prabhupada compared Yamraj as the superintendent of police. Like all the criminals are scared of superintendent of police or police commissioner. Similarly, humans, who are against the Lord, they are actually also scared of Yamraj, because devotees are not scared of Yamraj. All the people who are against the religious principles are not following religious principles. They are scared and they are so much worried about death. Devotees are not worried about death. Normal people, who are not devotees, they are scared, so scared. They all the time think about death, even in sleep, oh my God, I will die. What will happen to my money? What will happen to my wife? What will happen to my big bungalow? What will happen to all this? Whatever I earn so hard. So actually no one wants death. And actually no one can stop death also. Death will come according to its own accord actually. So in spite of whatever scientific advancement we made, death is sure. It is going to come. And when death comes, no one can save. No one can save. Even if you go to 10,000 big doctors, they cannot save you. Your time comes, you have to go. Because why death is so certain? Death is certain because Krishna himself is death. Actually, Krishna says, Kalo Asmi. So he's the Kal, he's the death. So we can see, we work so hard in this material world, but we love our wife so much, but what happens when we die? Our wife can only go till the front door of the house. She cannot go beyond that. Like she cannot follow you to the funeral home or something like that. And that's the Vedic culture. Similarly, your friends, your family, they can actually go to the funeral place, funeral ground, and your son can go only up to the burning your body. He will pile up the woods and everything and burn you according to Vedic things, but he cannot go beyond that. So we can see that nobody can go. You have to go alone from this material world actually. So actually we should know by seeing all these things that actually I'm alone, I came alone, I have to go alone. So I have to get out of this attachment of this family life. So slowly we have to give up this attachment. We should do our duty. I'm not saying that we should not do your duty to our family or our wife. We have to do that, but not having so much attachment to the family. And attachment with Krishna is very important. That we can actually succeed in our life. So if you see Yamraj, whose description is there, and he was invited by the great sages. So the Yamraj, he is the devotee of Lord, and also he is one of the 12 Mahajans also. So it's a devotee's duty, not to worry about Yamraj, because Yamraj he will never see. Because we hear in case of Ajamil that how the Yamraj told his Yamdutas that you never go to devotees. Somebody is chanting, somebody taking Lord's name, they never bother them. So he said, do not go to any devotees. That's his instruction. So a devotee should not worry about anything. We will never see Yamraj actually. And actually Yamraj wants everybody to see Krishna, that they are Krishna conscious and go to Krishna. He doesn't want to punish, but like police department has to punish. So similarly, Yamraj has to punish the people. So it's not in his heart that, okay, put the people in the boiling oil or things like that, or whip him, with your whip, but so many times. It's not like that, he doesn't want that. He's great Mahajan, he's great devotee. So in the Kali Yuga, we see all the laws are made for the human being, not for animals. So somebody kills any like cow in front in the public, I have seen many times, people are cutting goat. If you go to in India, where more, other kind of society lives, other religions live, the people cut right outside, at their doorstep or something like that. And because there is no punishment, there is no law that they are punished, like that. So all the laws are only for human being, not for animals. So that's not good actually, because Krishna is our father and we all are children of Krishna. So even animals are Krishna. So Krishna clearly says in Bhagavad Gita in 14th chapter, Aham Bija Pita, Bija Pradha Pita. So I am the seed-giving father of all human beings, all of jivas actually. So when he is the father, then all the jivas should be respected, and law should be there that we have to protect, especially cow. Cow should be protected, and the bull should be protected, brahmana should be protected. So these should be protected because Krishna actually loves them so much. Krishna was a Gopa, and he was playing with the cow all the time. So how people can kill the cow and think that this is not any sin? So that's why society is suffering so much actually nowadays. Is the jivas are children of God and Krishna is our father. So actually we should not tolerate any cruelty to his children. But that is not happening, unluckily, in the Kali Yuga. When one acts piously and follow Krishna conscious life, he does not go to Yamraj for sure. And he goes back to Godhead, back to Krishna. Actually, when we go to Yamraj, he sees how much sinful this person is. And then he actually punishes them accordingly. Also, he instructs, that one should not do this kind of sins in the future. Bhagavad Gita actually advises us that Swalpam apesha dharmasya trayato mahato bhaya, even little endeavor towards Krishna actually save with the greatest fear. And what is the greatest fear? Greatest fear is the death actually. Everybody afraid of death. So today we are reading, we read the last line, Aho nirloke piyete. Aho nirloke. Nirloke means in the human society, piyete, but they should drink Hari Katha, Leela Amrit, nectarian drink of Hari Katha, Hari Leela, all the Leela Katha of Krishna and the narrations of that. So once we hear that, our life actually will be similar. So he's saying, you have got this body, now just go on drinking the nectarian juice of Hari Katha. And Prabhupada is writing here is Niriloke. This is for humans, not for dogs and hawks or cats. So actually all human beings, it's a duty of all human beings to hear more and more. So we see there is another famous verse also where Niriloke is used in the fifth canto, 5th chapter. Nayam deho deha bhajam Niriloke kastan kaman arhate with bhujam ye. So where actually the Rishabdev is telling to his sons that of all the embodied beings, one who has been awarded this human form should not work hard simply for sense gratification, because sense gratification is even available to dogs and hawks, and that it is stool. So one should engage in the austerity to attain the divine position of the devotional service, by which one's heart is purified, which leads to infinite happiness in relation to the Lord. So actually our soul is not this body. Actually we are the spirit soul, we are not the body. And we can see the people, they have different colors, and like Americans, blacks, Chinese, Japanese, we see different people actually, but we are all spirit souls. We are not this body actually. if Lord actually mercifully gave us the skin, different skin. Otherwise, if the skin was not there, suppose, how we will look without skin. So by skin, so how beautiful this person is actually. But this, when we die, and we burn, skin goes so fast, within few minutes, few seconds actually, skin burns like so much, So no one actually can stop the death except the devotees. Because devotees, once they take Krishna consciousness seriously and they take shelter of the Guru, because shelter of Guru is very important, because through Guru also only our bhakti goes to Krishna. And so once we follow his instructions very seriously and properly, then once we start hearing about the Lord, and the more we hear, the more benefit to us actually. That will keep all these Yamdutas away from us, and that will be very great for us. So death is actually not very serious. Death is not like important for devotee. Devotee should not worry about the death. They should worry about how we increase our Krishna consciousness more and more. So now just few minutes left, few little time left. So today is the very great auspicious day of appearance day of Narottam Das Thakur. And I will give little bit, his nectarian pastime, that because he is in our like Gaudiya Sampradaya, and he was a great Acharya, and he had mercy of Chaitanya Mahaprabhu and Nityananda Prabhu and Rupa Goswami, Sanatana Goswami. So everybody's blessings he got, so he was a great person. He wrote so many songs which we sing every single day, and he wrote 2 great books. And so we will discuss about that today. Today is appearance day. So actually I'm seeking his compassion and his blessing, so I can narrate little bit of his nectarian pastime. So Narottam Das Thakur's father was Krishnananda Datta, who was the actually king of Rajashahi. Rajashahi nowadays it's in the Bangladesh, and the town where he was is Gopalpura. So Gopalpura, he was like in king of Gopalpura, and it was in Rajshahi province. And his mother's name was Narayani Devi, and he was born on the auspicious day of Magha Purnima. Today is the Magha Purnima. So he was born today. Even before his appearance, actually, Narottam Das Thakur's appearance, because Narottam Das appeared after many, many years after Chaitanya Mahaprabhu. But Chaitanya Mahaprabhu knew that he is coming. So he actually wanted to preserve some nectarian aesthetic love of God somewhere, so he thought that I will keep it with the Padmavati river. And so one day Chaitanya Mahaprabhu actually, when he was going first time to Vrindavan, and in Ramkeli he met Rupa and Sanatan, but there were so many people, thousands and thousands of people with him when he was going. So, and Sanatana Goswami advised him that when you go to Vrindavan, please do not go with all these people, because if you go with all these people, it will be quite a big disturbance for you. So he could not go at that time. He ended his trip in Kanai Natshala, and after that he returned back actually. So he went up to Ramkeli, and then he actually was, one day he was in that area, and he was having so much intoxicated with the love of Krishna. He was jumping, he was having so nice kirtan. And in that day, when he was completely absorbed in Krishna Bhakti, he started calling very loudly, Narottam, 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 like that. So all the devotees were thinking, who is Narottam? we never saw him, Chaitanya Mahaprabhu never said his name before. So what is going on actually? So then all the devotees asked him that what you were saying, Narottam, who is this? So Chaitanya Mahaprabhu said, this will be great prosperity. He will be coming soon in this world and he will spread Krishna consciousness everywhere. So then he went to Padmavali. Padmavali is the river, which is part of Ganges, is one of the tributary of Ganges, which is flowing in Bangladesh. So where it is known as Padmavali. So he went as soon as, so Chaitanya Mahaprabhu actually went there. He crossed the river and went other side of the river. So Chaitanya Mahaprabhu actually told Padmavati river that I want to preserve some love which Nityananda Prabhu is feeling for me, like that kind of love. So he wanted to preserve that love and he instructed river Padmavati in personified form that when Nityananda comes, you give this love to him. So now when Chaitanya Prabhu actually came and touched he put his lotus feet in the Padmavati river, the river swelled, there was flood, everywhere suddenly, and it was not rainy season or rainy days. So he was thinking that what is actually going on. So Padmavati river right away came out, and then he put obeisances to Chaitanya Mahaprabhu and asked how she can serve. So he said to Padmavati that keep this love, nectarian love, this thing with you, and when Nityananda comes, then give it to him. So she asked, that who is Nityananda and how I will recognize him. So Chaitanya Mahaprabhu told her that when Nityananda comes, the river will swell, actually there will be a flood and you will feel right away. So then actually when Nityananda Prabhu was born, then his Annasprasan ceremony, when he was 6 months old, it was done. So they brought the rice, which was not offered and the Annaprasan was done by one of the Brahman. So he didn't pay attention that it should be offered. So Nityananda could not take it, he refused completely. They put forcefully few grains in the mouth, but he actually threw it out. He didn't. Then actually another rice were cooked and offered properly, and then very happily Nityananda Prabhu took it. And even in his childhood, in the school days, he was so brilliant. He remembered so many shlokas and he was so wise that everybody can actually see that how brilliant he is. And also he had very charming beauty, which can attract one and all. So his parents actually, when he was 12 years old, his parents were thinking that their son is not taking any interest in this material life actually. So they thought that we should marry him soon. So and start looking for a girl. So he's tied up with the family life. And so they were worried about him, that he will leave us, because he was completely dejected from the material life, right from the childhood. So they started talking about the girl and select the girl, things like that. So Nityananda knew that what is going on. So he decided to run away from the home because he didn't want it to get tied up with the family life. So that very night, actually, the same, when he was thinking like that, then Narottam Das got a dream. And in the dream, he saw Nityananda Prabhu. And he actually bestowed his mercy. He showed his blissful form and he could do the darshan of this Nityananda Prabhu's blissful form. And Nityananda Prabhu told him that you will fall in great calamity if you marry. Because Nityananda Prabhu came actually for the preaching and for spreading the Sri Chaitanya Mahaprabhu's message to all that area. So that's why he advised like that. He advised him immediately, you go to Padmavali and she will give you everything, what you need at this time. So early in the morning, before anybody wakes up, before anybody wakes up, he went to the shore of Padmavali, and as soon as he reached Padmavali, he touched his feet. Immediately, the water swelled, and everywhere there was flooding. So Padmavati knew that he's here now, and she immediately came, and she was in ecstasy actually, and she gave that nectar what Chaitanya Mahaprabhu gave her, to keep her and keep it for Narottam. So she gave it to him, and as soon as he drank, he became so happy, and his body complexion completely changed. He became completely golden. And so even his parents, once they didn't find him in the house, they started looking him outside everywhere, and they started crying. They even saw Narottam, but they could not recognize him because his color was completely changed. So they were going back crying, so Narottam then told them that I am Narottam, I am your son, you are looking for me. So he returned back with them. And Narottam was actually, once he got the mercy of Chaitanya Mahaprabhu, he was feeling very unfortunate that not having witnessed that he was not born with Chaitanya Mahaprabhu and see Sarva Chaitanya Mahaprabhu directly. So that's why he was feeling bad. He was so great devotee. So Chaitanya, he was feeling little bit depressed, that why Chaitanya Mahaprabhu didn't give me chance to be born at that time, when all the great saints were here, and Sarva Chaitanya Mahaprabhu personally, but Chaitanya Mahaprabhu actually appeared in his dream, and he instructed him that you immediately go to Vrindavan and take initiation from Loknath Goswami. So Loknath Goswami was great spiritual master at that time, but he was not initiating anybody. He had decided that he will not give any initiation to anybody, like Bhakti Siddhanta Saraswati's Guru Gaur Kishore Babaji. He decided not to give any initiation. He didn't want any disciples actually. So similarly, Loknath Goswami also didn't want any disciples. So actually he ran away from home again to go to Vrindavan, and he began his journey on barefoot. And we can imagine actually he was son of a king, and he was living like a prince in so much comfort, now going, and he was going without food and without water for so many days, and also walking barefoot. So we can imagine one day he was very tired, and he was resting under the tree. So at that time, actually, he saw that a golden complex boy came and delivered him pot of milk, and he drank, and he said that you please drink this pot of milk, and your all tiredness and everything, will go away right away. All the fatigue and the pains will go away. So he drank that milk, and he felt so good. But he didn't know that this is Chaitanya Mahaprabhu came actually in the form of a golden complex boy, and gave him the milk. So actually, if you see, he was so lucky to have darshan of Nityananda, Rupa, Sanatana, everybody, and got their blessings. somehow the other Chaitanya Mahaprabhu, the Narottam Das actually continued his journey, and he soon reached there at the Sri Vrindavan Dham. And so as soon as he reached there, he went to Loknath Goswami, wanted to take his darshan, and also he told Loknath Goswami that I'm here and please give me the shelter at your lotus feet. But he said that Loknath Swami said that I will not initiate you, and not you, anybody actually, and I have decided that. So now what Loknath will do, he got instruction from Chaitanya Mahaprabhu in the dream that you take initiation from him, and here Loknath Goswami is saying him he will not give initiation. So he was puzzled, so he thought, I will stay here and serve him faithfully, and let us see what happens. So he stayed in the ashram, and what he was doing, that there was a toilet outside the house, and so he will get up nighttime, midnight, and he will clean the toilet which was being used by Loknath Goswami, and he will clean it nicely, put the new mud there, and then he will bring other kind of soil to wash the hands with, after going to toilet. So that, and every whole area he was keeping so clean. So Loknath Goswami actually was watching that nobody was doing it before. Now who is doing this? So one time he was watching it, in the night time he was not sleeping, he was watching, and he saw that Narottam is doing this, who is the son of the king, he's a prince, and he was doing this kind of low service, then he became very happy with his service. Similarly, we see the Bhakti Siddhanta Saraswati Thakur also did the same thing, when Garkoshar Babaji said no for initiation, and then ultimately he was happy and gave him the initiation. So these are the ways, whatever menial kind of service we have to do for the Guru, we should be ready to do it. And then Guru gets happy and gives his mercy on us. So what a great example it is. So Loknath Goswami instructed him that, okay, I will give you the initiation, you serve here, and then you go to Jiva Goswami actually, because Jiva Goswami is teaching also to other devotees like Shyamananda Pandit. And so he told, you go, and Srinivas Acharya also. So he said, you go and serve Jiva Goswami. So with that instruction, look, the Narottam Das Thakur went to Jiva Goswami and started living in his ashram. So actually this was the Chaitanya Mahaprabhu's desire, that the books, written by all the Goswamis should go to Bengal, because they were all in Vrindavan. All the Goswamis are in Vrindavan. So he said that all the Goswamis written some books. So those books should go to the Bengal. So Jiva Goswami actually wanted to fulfill that desire of Chaitanya Mahaprabhu. So at that time, all the saints, were leaving their body. They're very, very old and everything. So Jiva Goswami was actually teaching Srinivas Acharya, Narottam Das Thakur, and Shyamananda Pandit. So Shyamananda Pandit actually was great devotee. All three are so great. Srinivas Acharya also, and Narottam Das Thakur also, and Shyamananda Pandit actually, we read his history that he actually got one time when he was cleaning the ashram of Jiva Goswami, actually he got the ankle belts of Radharani, and then Radharani saw that my ankle belt is missing, so she sent Lalita Sakhi to go and see. So and the Shyamananda Pandit was there, so she asked, that did you see the ankle belt? And she said, whose it belongs, because they were so shiny and everything. So she said that this is from my friend's ankle belt. He said, bring your friend here, I will give it directly to her. And then Radharani actually came behind a tree, and he saw her, he did the darshan, and gave it to Radharani. And Radharani was so happy. She gave actually the name Shyamananda Pandit actually, and she put a mark on his forehead also, some impression. So he got the mercy of Radharani, Shyamananda Pandit. So Shyamananda Pandit and Srinivas Acharya and Narottam Das Thakur, they three were living together, getting all the instructions from Jiva Goswami. After a few years, Jiva Goswami told them, instructed them that Chaitanya Mahaprabhu wanted these books to go to Bengal. So take these books to Bengal. So they were taking the books to Bengal. So there were so many books written by these Goswamis. So they actually put the books, in the big trunks, huge trunks. And then trunks were logged and loaded in the bullock carts, 2-3 bullock carts. And then Jiva Goswami arranged some men to go with them, driving the bullock cart and things like that, and gave them some money or some expenses in the way. So, and they told, that when you reach there, you inform. But what happened, as soon as they entered Bengal, there was a area, a kingdom known as Bishanpur. And the king of Bishanpur was that Hampi, what was his name? Virhambir. So Virhambir was the king of Bishanpur. And he was a king, who will steal the things also, steal the things from the people, the outsiders, who come there in his kingdom. And so all the books were stolen. Like robbed, actually, not stolen, but robbed. And they were actually all three, Srinivas Acharya and Shyamanand Pandit and Narottam, they all were very puzzled, what to do now, because the books are so valuable. At that time, there was no copies of those books, there were no printing press like what we have now, no photocopy machines, not taking photo from the camera, things like that. So it was very hard to get that. But ultimately, Shyamanand Pandit was sent, and Narottam Das Thakur was sent that you continue journey, and Srinivas Acharya actually stayed, and he preached to the king, and king was so happy with him. And then Srinivas Acharya asked him, that we lost all these books, do you know, you are king, you should know who are the thieves in your kingdom and who took our books. So he took him in his basement, where all the books were, all the things, where they will steal and keep it, there were all the trunks of books actually there. And Srinivas Acharya was very happy, and he notified Narottam Das Thakur and Shyamanand Pandit and also Jiva Goswami, and everything was settled there. Then ultimately, Narottam Das Thakur reached his hometown known as Kheturi. So Kheturi is the actually very pious place now also, because in the Kheturi, still there is temple of Narottam Das Swami, the deities which Narottam Das Thakur was praying, worshipping. He actually worshipped the 6 deities, he installed them himself, and their name was so nice, Shri Gauranga, Vallabhi Kant, Brajamohan, Shri Krishna, Shri Radha Kant, and Radha Raman. So these were 6 deities of Narottam Das Thakur, and those deities are still worshipped there in Kheturi. Kheturi is the Tirtha now in Bangladesh. Many Gaudiya Vaishnavas goes there, because in Kheturi also there was a big Mahotsav known as Kheturi Mahotsav. And Narottam Das Thakur actually started this on Gaur Purnima. First time, they were celebrating Gaur Purnima, and everybody from all corners, all the Gaudiya Vaishnava from all corners of the world came there and attended. And in that festival, Chaitanya Mahaprabhu, who left this planet, Chaitanya Mahaprabhu and all the Goswamis and who left this place, they all came. Narottam Das Thakur, Nityananda Prabhu, they all came and attended that festival. All the associates of Chaitanya Mahaprabhu who left this place with Chaitanya Mahaprabhu, they all returned back. Yeah. And people can do their darshan. So that festival was so great. And Chaitanya, and as we know that he wrote so many nice bhajans for all of us, and we read them. More than 150 bhajans he wrote, and I will just name a few of them, like Hari Hari Vifale Janam Gamaina, and Vrandavana Ramya Sthane, Radha Krishna Pranamora Yugala Kishora, Shri Guru Charana Padma Kevala Bhakti Sadma. These all songs were sung by Sri Prabhupada. Also, we can see those tapes, and enjoy those songs. Shri Rupa Manjari Pada and Anilo Premadhana, which we sing at the Disappearance Day of all the Vaishnavas. And Goranga boli ve have pulaka sharira. So Goranga reduti prada yahi mora sampada. Other famous bhajan is Hari Harai Nama, Krishna Yadavai Namaha, and Nitai Pada Kamala. So there are so many books written by him, and so many bhajans written by him. And he wrote only 2 books. One is Prema Bhakti Chandrika, another book is Prarthana. And they are so nice books, one should read. Like Gaur Kishore Babaji, somebody asked him, that how I can get love of God. And Gaur Kishore Babaji used to say, it costs only 2 paisas. You buy these 2 books, Prem Bhakti Chandrika and Prarthana, and read them, and your life will be sublime, and you will get the love of God. So these books are so important. So we should actually take advantage of his bhajans and his books, and remember all the great Vaishnavas. So our life will be good in Krishna consciousness. So time is up now. I will end. It's 9 o'clock. It's 1 minute above that. And somebody has any question, comments, we can discuss that. Otherwise, we'll end today's class.
Thank you
very much. Hare Krishna.
Yeah, that was a lot of information about the Bhagavatam verse also, like you had said, a very important, very nice verse, but a very important topic also. We tend to look at death as very negative, very scary, and we should, but the right way to look at it is to how to spend time before we meet death. That is the best way. Thank you very much for that. And also about Narottam Das Thakur, by describing all those places, hopefully we will get a chance to visit those places and get darshan.
Thank you. Hare Krishna.
Hare Krishna. Anybody else have any other comments or realizations? This chapter, previous chapter, definitely a lot of things for us to think about. And the Prabhupada quotes keep coming every day. And somehow I feel they're getting connected also. He's talking about why a devotee should practice, because we are all representing Prabhupada's ISKCON. So it's very important that we practice what we are learning here, because people, when they see us, they see, is this what ISKCON is? So we need to make sure that we are putting our best foot forward. We have a very big responsibility also. So,
yeah, that's true, Mataji.
Yeah.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you very much, Prabhu, for today's class. And that about death, the thing, the way we have to listen to this Hari Katha all the time. So that will take. And like you said, Yamadharma Raj, he will be there. But we shouldn't be scaring. But it is like, we are human beings. Sometimes it is very touchy.
Yeah, everybody is scared.
Not scaring, but the feeling, what I'm saying.
Uh-huh.
Sometimes if we lose somebody, and the feelings are there.
Yeah.
But when we listen to like this Harikatha, like Katha, and like he says, Hari Charanam, Hari, the sloka it says. So if we keep on listening, I think we'll be prepared for that.
Mm-hmm.
Thank you very much for that. And about Narottam Das songs also. Yeah, we're learning from Vishnuda Prabhu, and their beautiful songs are there. And beautiful meaning was there.
Meaning is so great, all those songs, is a great message.
Yeah, and how much he felt also, it shows in the song. Narottam Das Prabhu. Thank you.
Prabhu.
Hare Krishna.
Hare Krishna, Prabhuji. Excellent class. Please accept my humble obeisances. Thank you very much. That the class made me thinking about the topic of attachment. Of course, in my personal journey of this life, I feel it's fearful of death. When small things happen. So I don't know. I don't know how to detach from body. It's very difficult for me. But yeah, I see the principles here. But like speaking about, you speak about little bit about attachment, and that made me thinking about it in our daily life. We are attached to the place where we live, wherever we start seeing it, and our relatives, relationships, all those. And the biggest struggle I personally experience in general way is we hear about the not to be attached and do our duties, but then we when we do our duties, um, that's where the trap also is. Like, okay, when we are doing it, duties, we are attached to that duties and doing it. How do we really know that we are detached and doing our duties, which is very difficult when we try to evaluate our own self,
Yeah, we should actually, as a devotee, we should actually evaluate ourselves every couple of months at least, So the best way, Ravindra Prabhu used to say, if we get more attachment to the spiritual things, our interest automatically go down on the material things, actually. So if you see that this thing, like before I was watching movies, like 30 years ago, I was watching movies. Now, the last 20 years, I didn't watch a single movie, and I don't miss them. Yeah, otherwise, sometimes we say, oh, today, Saturday or Sunday, let us just have some entertainment, thing like that, But you don't feel like that. Like, we don't feel like eating in restaurants or try to enjoy that. We don't feel like that. So the interest goes away slowly of the things, which are not Krishna conscious. So we will know by our own desires. We are the best evaluate ourselves. Nobody can say that, okay, he has bhakti inside or not, actually. So how much interest we have in material things and how much interest we have in spiritual things, So that is the best indicator, actually. And we are the judge ourselves. Nobody can say. Otherwise, somebody say, oh, this guy gets up at 4 o'clock, chants so seriously. But we don't know how much, they don't know how much concentration we have during chanting or thing like that. Because chanting is very important. I also chant and everybody else chant, but chanting, it is said in many books that we have to have affection, proper affection and affinity for Lord Krishna. Then chanting is proper. Also, we should concentrate more about that and tell every word clearly so we can hear that word, Hare Krishna, Hare Krishna. So that way, so if we chant that way, that will be great, We should try to make it more and more perfect, and we can make more perfect if we don't do any Vaishnava aparadha. If we are doing aparadha against the devotees and against Krishna's name itself, Nam aparadha, then it will not be proper, So I know it's very tough, but we should try to avoid those aparadhas, and then we will know the importance of a spiritual life. And we have to just judge ourselves, that how our interests are going down and down. I know it's very hard, especially in young age, to live like this interest of the family. People get attached to their wives, their children, But yes, get a little attached, but more. All the attachment should be to the Krishna, actually, So that we have to catch his lotus feet and never leave that once you catch that. So that's our real position, But when Krishna sent us in material world, and yeah, we should love our kids, our wife, but do Krishna consciousness with them. There's nothing wrong with that. Yeah, so if you do keep the family together, read with them, chant with them, do the deity worship with them, then that is the best life, actually. Yeah, because we cannot leave our wife, our children, the house, because we cannot be one prasti go in forest, where there are the forest, nowadays. So nowadays, that's why you just live either in the dham or live in the home and make it dham itself, where Krishna's name are chanted all the time. And it's Krishna's name is discussed, that's a dham, actually. So we can do that way. So have you got some help with that? But
yeah, definitely. No, this I think so. I see what your essence was like. seeing our all relationship like as a like engagement with the devotion. So if we do that, then we can slowly develop that love for Godhead, and slowly we'll give up things, which are not materialistic things.
Actually, love word is made for Krishna only.
That's a very good point.
Other thing, other one is lust actually. Any love other than Krishna is the lust actually.
Yeah, that's right. Actually, Prabhupada also says if you have a lust, but you also have a lust for Krishna.
Yeah.
Be greedy for Krishna. Be greedy for Krishna. And
Yeah.
that's a natural things we have, right? So why don't we become greedy for Krishna?
Yeah.
That is also like, I think so. It was what your context is, right? Yeah. But love is meant for Krishna. Yes. Thank you very much.
Okay, Prabhu. Thank you very much. Thank you all. Hare Krishna.
Hare Krishna. See you all in the evening at 4:30 for Kirtan and the temple program. Thank you very much.
Thank you. Hare Krishna. Vancha kalpatarubhyascha kripa sindhubhyev cha patitanam pavanebhyo vaishnavebhyo namo namah. Ananta koti Vaishnav Vrinda ki jai.
Thank you very much.